Flash forward to 2016, and Steve Aoki takes a much calmer approach to fundraising.
So this event and Aoki Foundation is really about, the main thing is about saving the brain. And why brains? Well, the brain itself is, to me, the most important phenomena in the universe.
That is a pretty heartwarming speech. And the event goes on to raise $223,542. But once you take a look at their 2016 tax return, that heartfelt speech starts to feel empty. Because out of the $223,542 that they raised, only $9,500 was used towards charities. And only $3,000 of that entire amount went towards a charitable cause that aligned with their mission statement. So the Aoki Foundation raised nearly $250,000 and only spent 1.3% of it towards brain health charities. Now, their filing also states that they spent $29,931 towards promoting their events. So they're spending way more money to promote the event than they actually are on charitable causes. And mind you, after all of the fees, cost, and donations, they're left with $173,567. So while I was researching DJ Kid Millionaire Touring Incorporated, I found out that they received a Paycheck Protection Program loan from the federal government for $69,305. Now, this program was created to help companies retain their employees during the pandemic. And mind you, this is a first come, first served type of program here. There were companies that didn't receive any money from the federal government to keep their employees, while Steve Aoki receives the funds to retain 4 employees. And all 4 employees are Steve Aoki. Now, I find it funny that Steve Aoki, who supposedly has a net worth of $100 million, would need to dip into pandemic relief funds, especially when he spent $170,000 that same year on a PSA 10 first edition Charizard that he bought from Gary Hayes.
So you didn't write it off because you didn't have capital gains to write it off, or you didn't write it off because you didn't care about the money?
I didn't have enough capital gains for that to make a difference.
Okay, because you didn't sell enough. Okay,
I didn't sell hardly anything, but yeah. I'm retired anyway, and so yeah, that's all that is. It's just a lot of smoke.
Okay. All right, guys, those are the answers for tonight. Thank you again, Gary, for coming on. We'll be in touch again.
I did. A lot of the people didn't notice, but most of the time I had a shield on, a clear shield. You know, we didn't want to hide this pretty face, right? So, so I wore the shield, the majority of the time. But a lot of the time, I remember I must have took pictures with, fist pumped or shook hands with 1,000 people. So, and I mean, that was all just about a week ago, and I feel perfectly fine. So, anyway, I can understand the concern. A lot of these people that have problems, they're locked in, and then they have to look at us at a beautiful collectible convention, having fun and meeting with each other. And I mean, I'd be a little bit bitter too.
Remember, this man represents the Aoki Foundation, and he holds himself as the highest authority in Pokemon, as well as the highest authority in MetaZoo. And here he is mocking people that are trying to be responsible during a time where mental health is extremely important and lives are being lost.